we go. That's a beautiful thing. Keep the week humming along with positivity. Let's hope. A little 4-0 shutout will work. And then imagine, I've heard from more people this week rolling into town for softball against Virginia, right? And baseball against Wake.
That's right. With the band on Friday night. I knew it. I just had a feeling that 8 o'clock first pitch was going to get people all up, riled up in the right way. And apparently that extends all the way out to the Marching Chiefs.
I never thought, by the way, that the band being at a baseball game would work. That was really cool when it happened that time against Florida, but I never thought it would work. I never thought it was something that lent itself to that. And yet it did. Yet it very much felt like it had an effect. I think I'm just too accustomed to like Major League Baseball, and that would seem weird.
Yeah,
and
organs.
Yeah, just like low key. But they found, they elevated it. It was more intense and emotional, the way collegiate sports are or should be. It's one of the bigger downsides of the corporate professionalization of college sports.
Well, this is the other side of it. The hot dogging thing you and I both don't like. I act like I'm 75 years old, especially with that particular issue. But if you're going to be college, then all right, be college. Be college all the way. And according to social media that I saw today, 7:10 p.m. They're starting essentially an hour before first pitch with the music in the stands. So get there early.
Walking around the stadium there with the band, with the Chiefs blaring, and a cold beer in hand as the build up to a series that's important against Wake Forest. And really, I think that we enter today, the day before this all gets started, sort of the anticipatory element of all of this is I'm really anxious to see how Jamie Arnold pitches. Listen, obviously I want Florida State to win the series and I want them, to do as well as they can throughout the course of the year, but I need my ace to be my ace. I love obviously what Vellini's done and he's been a horse and a stud and he seems like he's built for it. And I don't know that he's going to waver. There's a mentality there that is revealed after each strong inning that he puts together. And it's the right kind of attitude too. It's a toughness. It's not a look at me. It's I'm here to compete. I'm here to compete.
Well, or he has a cruise control setting that I think is really cool because it's reserved for the uber confident. This is when we were doing the extra episode a couple weeks ago on a Thursday night, and it was game 1 against Miami, and Florida State had pulled away, massive output offensively, and you could tell 4th, 5th inning that Vellini realized, okay, A, we could probably run rule these guys. B, even if we don't, I just need to throw strikes and move this ball game along because I'm going to save the arms for games 2 and 3 in the series. This game is 1. So what would be best for the team? Not me hunting strikeouts.
Right.
Not me trying to strike out the side and wasting 22 pitches because I care very much about swings and misses. Let's get the ball in play and let me be the guy for the night to better position us to win games 2 and 3. That's the type of poise and selflessness that resounds with the dugout. The dugout respects the hell out of that. Everybody does. And he's a leader that way, which is good. But you need your first-round pick to be your first-round pick.
Yeah, I need Jamie to be the best version of Jamie, and I he's eager to do that. And for whatever reason, whatever happened, I don't know if it was the schedule getting interrupted or if it was he did, that day that he didn't feel right and they pushed him back and I don't know what happened with the rhythm that he was in and the comfort level that he had. You worry about when your ace isn't going along like your ace, you begin to you get people coming out of the woodwork. What are you on? Everybody's got a theory, and inevitably when any player in any sport that you're relying on isn't performing to their ability, you're going to start speculating about, is he dinged up? Does he have a nagging injury? Fair enough. That's just what happens. Running back has a bad game. You're like, something wrong with his ankle? What's going on there? You didn't run like he normally runs. So I don't know if that's the case or not, but you began to hear those whispers. I'd like that put all to rest. To be fair, those rumors were like spin rates down and all this other stuff. Like the way they calculate things down in baseball, it's changed. But I don't know if that's real or not. I haven't seen those numbers, and I don't have access to them. So I don't know if the numbers were down or not. I just know that he went 4 1/3, and another time was it less than that? I mean, he's had a rough go.
Maybe he could be motivated. Georgie in the chat wants Osceola Renegade to plant the spear at home plate.
See, this doesn't work. And I get it, because on the one hand, I just got done saying I never thought having the Chiefs in the stands playing at a baseball game would work. But the spear elevates the level of intensity in sport, in particular football, to a maniacal level. It's why we love it. We're at a murderous rage level at the time the spear drops. When the spear drops, it's like, I'll kill you. It's a declaration of war in the football terms, right? Baseball, it would be anticlimactic to slam that behind home plate and be like, all right, first pitch. Ball 1. Kill him. Foul back. 1-1. We're just underway here at Hauser. There's no, you know what I mean? It would just be unless the first pitch was like the first pitch Ohtani saw last night in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, yeah.
And deposited.
What if you could have Osceola and Renegade just right next to the batter, right behind the batter, just far enough away that there's no danger of getting hit by a baseball, but also close enough that you can hear Renegade breathe if you're the hitter, and you hear the horse going, oh.
I've never had a chance to, and I've known people who have, but I've never had a chance to talk to somebody who's competed against Florida State, come in here as a football player and been on the sidelines for when Chief Osceola and Renegade plant the spear. And I've always thought that's got to be really cool. Some traditions are aggravating and annoying even. Like you can point to any number of them, but
hopping on a bus and taking 20 minutes to run down a hill.
Yeah, but the players aren't usually standing out there waiting on Clemson to do that. Like, they're waiting on Chief Osceola and Renegade.
Yes.
So this is different. It's annoying for us in the stands as we wait forever.
Well, typically there's a delay.
Yeah.
Now, I think they've tamped that down, but when they really leaned into that in 2013, because remember they had
they're trying to break the noise record.
Right. And they had the Labor Day weekend game against Georgia that season. And they took their sweet-ass time for that Labor Day game. And I think they were trying to run it back to break that noise record. So you're just standing there, waiting a little longer. Like, okay, they're not even on the bus yet.
Yeah. No, it was a while. It wasn't as cool as when we got the free advertising before the Florida game, where it was just silence in terms of the broadcast in Florida State, Florida, and got to hear the mighty chant throughout for 10 minutes prior to the game. That was incredible. That place was at a fever pitch.
Yeah. Well, we all knew what was about to go down.
We were hungry. They were reeling, and we were hungry, and it was time.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice try on that fake punt, Urban.
Yeah. It was time to hand the baton. Remember that? We knew. Oh, this is good.
Justin Bright on the tackle, I believe.
Yeah, that was fun. I still remember that. But back to this real quick. The problem is, again, that is a declaration. It's a antagonistic, but it's not. It's tradition in a good way, and I would think opposing players would love it. I would, if I were coming in and I played for any other school and I got to be a part of that. But this is cool. This is cool. Look at this, especially at night.
Yeah.
Holy moly! Whereas, again, I've seen it before where you're at another school and their tradition, which pales in comparison to Florida State's best tradition in college football, and I'm sitting there looking and thinking, this is ass. What are you all doing?
4 bits. I have a couple of high school classmates who played for the U, and their response to it was, "Oh, I got to get up front to see this.
Oh,
I have to get up front. Like, get out of the way. I can't not see this with my own eyes and feel this with my own."
It's funny you bring it up. We didn't mean to go here, but it just came up because of the fact that the Marching Chiefs are going to be there for the game tomorrow, and that is that. When I watch opposing teams before the game's played, I always take a good look at their sidelines, not ours. I know we're going to be pumped up. We're at home, everything's got a caveat of last year excluded. But anyhow, this year, go back to that's the other thing. And now I'm going, this has got tentacles. we really, man, did we take
It's like
it,
the CP on a
man,
Thursday.
Man, did we take it on the chin last year? I keep thinking of all the things that didn't happen, but because the stadium was a mess.
Rams.
Yeah, well, that's on top of the list. But because the stadium was a mess and crowds were, marginalized to, whatever that number was. What was it?
Several.
Yeah. There are thousands of people here. Yeah. So because of that, you didn't get any real atmosphere and we sucked. So it was a deadly marriage. But now you return to form. You'll get the full experience, which gets me back to opposing teams when I watch them take the field. Generally speaking, unless it's a rivalry, like an intense rivalry like Florida or Miami, opposing schools, no matter who they are, no matter where they sit in the hierarchy of college athletics, they love it. You can see the players are, as your friends were, excited to witness it because you grow up. I don't care where you end up going to school. This is why Florida State resonates. This is why Florida State still matters, even in the wake of 2-10. This is why Florida State knew that if they could find a way out from under the grant of rights, they would be wanted. They would not have pressed forward in the manner that they did if they didn't realize they were going to have a home. Because at the end of the day, and it's weird to puff out your chest in these moments where you're coming off a horrific season, but at the end of the day, they are still Florida State. And at the time that they really established that reputation and the traditions became known, not just in the Southeast and the state of Florida and Tallahassee, but the country, and became a big, big part of why college football was rising in popularity. At that time, you think back on it now, that's when the TV industry was grabbing college football, and it was not only just a regional sport anymore, it became a national sport, and everybody recognized what dotting the I was at Ohio State, what it was for a whiteout at Penn State, LSU's great tradition with their fans. You recognized, you knew what Oklahoma did, and you knew, but Florida State's tradition became seen nationally. And that doesn't go away. Why? Because it's awesome. It's as simple as that. It's not a matter of opinion, really. I know that technically it is, but I have never met somebody, a fan of any team, and that includes friends that I have who went to the University of Florida, who don't think that that's awesome, that that's one of the great traditions in all of college athletics, certainly football. And so when I think about that, and I think about the opposing teams, and I think about the people that watch, the players that take the field, I think about how they've got to love it. And I don't want it at Hauser. I don't want them to. It wouldn't work at Hauser. It's a baseball game. The Chiefs worked. Shockingly to me, the Chiefs worked. It wouldn't work in baseball.
You don't want to be open-minded about it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well,
it's reserved. It's a very special thing. It's reserved for football. The Chiefs can play all over, and often do.
Okay. All right.
The planting of the spear, baby, that is sacred. That's football and football alone.
I don't know. There's a nice spot in the backstop right there. I don't know. Where would you plant the spear would be the question. Center field? Between the pitcher's mound and home plate?
Well, I like planting it right behind
turf.
home plate if you could.
Yeah, it's turf, though. Although they have planted it in turf before. Didn't they go for the Peach Bowl? I feel like Osceola Renegade made it to the...
When you and I were down on the field when Houston was warming up?
Game. Yeah. Yeah.
You remember? That was ridiculous.
It was a tough day.
And that's the day that I got in the elevator with CeeLo.
We both did.
Yeah. A little fat CeeLo.
They went and fetched him. They're like, hey, CeeLo, this is the wrong elevator. Oh, sorry, everybody. And then he left.
Yeah. That was hilarious.
But you felt the greatness in all the 5'3".
CeeLo's fat ass walked into that elevator. He had his shades on. He was that tall. And he said, I was like, there. And I whispered to you, I go, CeeLo.
Those were heavy shades, too.
Yeah. I'd plant it behind home plate. I'd plant it right behind home plate before they get out there. And that would be the end of that. It would be like, there you go. Give it a do. It'd be cool for half a second, and then it would be anticlimactic. Everybody would be like, didn't really work. Worked for a second, but now I'm watching this guy warm up.
Let Renegade use their bullpen. during the game, just in case he needs to relieve himself. There you go.
That's the other problem. You don't want to be up close and personal if that happens. That thing's a fire hose. We don't need all that. That's a lot to overcome before the game.
Warming up in the bullpen after vomiting for Wake Forest.
Thanks, Raffles, my brother. Chipped in as you boys make my DMV wait less interminable. By the way, that's a great use of interminable, but also I would tell you that sucks to be at the DMV ever.
It's a tough time of day for the DMV.
Well, it might be the right time of day for the DMV. Well, I want to post-lunch maybe?
I feel like
post-lunch?
First thing or about 3 p.m., 2:30, 3 p.m. Those are your two shots. But, I mean, first thing in the morning is the best if you can swing it.
Yeah, the earlier the better. I will shout out the DMV, shockingly. But the last 2 times I've had to go, one for when my oldest son got his driver's license. And I bought him a car and we had to register and do all that stuff. And I'm like, So I had to go twice, and both times, lickety-split in and out of there, buddy.
Lickety-split.
Lickety-split. And the guy was pleasant. I had a guy and a woman. The woman was nice, too, but the guy was especially kind. He was really nice.
I think that's one term that's not used enough. MLB could have really used that relative to the pitch clock era. The lickety-split era is here.
Well, Raffles returned and told us it's not the right time for the DMV. That would have been funny. Under the guise of lickety-split, he's violated. First base is awarded to you, as that was not lickety-split. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
This announcement is brought to you by Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey.
If you're driving right now, you should know there's an 80% chance that the cars all around you don't carry any bodily injury insurance. Most people don't realize it, but in Florida, all the law requires is that drivers carry property damage insurance. This means that the texting teen drifting over into your lane or the drag racer on your rear bumper have no way of compensating you or your loved ones when they cause a crash. And this should scare the hell out of you. Fortunately, there's an easy way to protect your family from this, and it's called uninsured motorist coverage. It's an absolute must, but a lot of insurance companies are convincing folks to drop it just to save a few dollars. Take it from the personal injury experts. Don't. At Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey, we've recovered millions of dollars in uninsured motorist coverage in crashes where our clients would have otherwise received nothing. So please, call your agent right now and make sure you have uninsured motorist coverage on your policy. We hope you'll never need it, but we'll be here for you if you ever do. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Don't settle for less.
Porterman, you're walking crooked again. What happened to you?
Well, I was sitting at the boat ramp sipping on a margarita when my alligator Hank decided we needed to go water skiing.
Oh, no.
Next thing you know, Hank's strapped to 4 skis and I'm hanging on his back and the boat is pulling us out. It was all going great till Hank spotted a duck in the lily pads and wanted to jump the wake.
Porterman, you're crazy. No wonder you got hurt.
Yep, 1 second it's air, water, air, then bam, now I can't even bend over to put on my own water skis.
Well, Porterman, you better get over to Thin Chiropractic right now. You can book an appointment online and take advantage of the new patient special.
Special offer online? That's easier than wrestling an airboat off a sandbar.
That's right. Just go to thinchiro.com. FENNCHIRO.com. FENNCHIRO.com.
That's it. I'm headed over there boogity to get straightened out.
Tallahassee's 30-year-old funny paper and American Legion Post 13 have joined forces to become Major Morale. The new magazine has 4 more pages of post activities and military information that you probably never knew. But don't worry, it's still as politically correct and newsworthy as always. Okay, it's the same funny stuff, but it's still only available at the sponsors locations like ABC Flooring, Tallahassee Automobile Museum, Krispy Kreme, or Keith Lawson Services, providing professional services and maintenance for your home's most critical systems for over 39 years. If you need air conditioning, heating, or plumbing repairs, you will receive an upfront written quote, and the job will be done on time by the area's most advanced, highly trained professionals. Keith Lawson Services, Florida license CMC 125456 and CFC 1429-197.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Rolling on, I will mention this again at some point, but I just continue to remain in awe of one Shohei Ohtani who walks it off against the Braves. Braves fans, you're not panicked, are you? I think I'm in a position to not panic for you easier than you are as a Braves fan, because starting in this manner is a bit much. Like, you get to 0-4, you're like, 0-4, we'll be all right. 0-7. This is getting to be a toughie. There are those stats that come out with 0-7. Like, no team that's ever started 0-7 has all the things you wish you could do.
Right.
You know,
they've done absurd things over these last 5 years. Like when they hawked us down to tie the division, but they had the tiebreaker. What is this, 4 years ago now? Yeah. They had to play 680 baseball over the span of 3 months. And they did. So, I mean, they've got it in them. And that pitching staff's really good. If they were giving up 8 runs a night and there was no hope, Strider got hurt and Schwellenbach got hurt, all right, they're dead and buried. No, they got the arms. And, I mean, they've got everything.
No, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I didn't say it for that reason. Right. I think they will. I'm just saying you are reaching the threshold of comfort or uncomfortability. I think you get to a point where you say, well, okay, I mean, we're good, and this has been a tough West Coast stretch. By the way, just not for nothing, in what would maybe, I guess, make you feel better to some extent if you're a Braves fan is, I mean, you're losing to the team that is going to probably win the World Series in all likelihood. They are 8-0, and they have a payroll of $1 gazillion. But not for nothing, the other team you played is the Padres, and they too are undefeated.
Yes.
So you've played 2 teams and lost every game you played against them. Every one of them. Yeah, every one of them.
By definition, if they both are undefeated, they must have played the Braves.
Well, yes, you've lost to every team you've played every time. Now, that's a bit excessive. You've played 2 teams, and you've lost to both of them. In all 7 contests, you've lost. But they, too, are 7-0, are the Padres. But, buddy, I don't know the magic number if I were a Braves fan, where I'd go, beginning to wonder if this isn't going to be a blank show this year. I mean, what? But here's the problem. Again, it's such a long season. They've got really good players.
Chances are you're going to lose 6 or 7 at some point. You just don't want it ever to be the first 6 or 7.
7's a bit much for good teams. 7's a bit much. It doesn't usually happen that your better teams lose 7 in a row. But if you are going to lose 7 in a row, you didn't lose 7 games in a row while facing the Nationals and the Pirates. That would be a tough road to hoe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you were 0-7 and you had played 4 against the Nats and 3 against the Buccos, you'd be like, we got problems. This isn't good. I know baseball can be baseball and baseballs, but this isn't good. Yeah, that would be a problem. You face the Padres and the Dodgers.
Well, I could tell you, watching yesterday, I was losing patience, and I still have patience thinned, even though the Mets rallied and won the ball game. They're kicking it around for 2 days in a row against the Marlins, and you're saying to yourself, hey, guys,
pick up the baseball.
Did you read too many press clippings in the offseason? Like, what's going on here? You got people Vientos throwing one from third base into the netting above the backstop. on a routine throw home. Lindor making errors in back-to-back innings, base running blunders, all kinds of stuff. And I'm saying, hey, easy. But then I do have to remind myself, they're 3-3 on the flight back home, and they're not 0-7. If we were 0-7, I would be furious. I would be furious.
We chide because we can while the opportunity is there. So I will say, did you even realize, Tom, that this thing there was a scheduled, there are basketball games that are being played between UCF, Cincinnati, Villanova, USC, Chattanooga, and UC Irvine. Is that today? That is today. Why?
I couldn't tell you.
This is
news to me.
Well, it's a Fox Sports thing. I think it's like the CBI. It's some college basketball invitational. It's nonsense. But this has been going on for a while, apparently, alongside. Now, we don't have the Saturday basketball, Florida and Auburn, until, as well as Houston and Duke, until, like I said, Saturday.
That's interesting. That makes more sense because I pulled up, the streaming app to go put on the baseball game yesterday, and it said, hey, do you want to watch this college basketball game? Other live sports on right now.
And you were like, there is no other college basketball game.
Surely that's a replay. I'm just going to skip past that. So you're telling me these are real games?
These are real games.
Okay.
Real games.
The beep beep?
It's like the beep beep. I would think it has to be something worse. I would like to come up with a different sound effect for this useless ass thing that they're playing. I mean, it's just kind of a strange deal. I can't get a sense for that. But that said, there is basketball tonight. I only mention it because it's in the realm of sport, and I saw it. I said, does anybody else realize this is happening? I'm just kind of polling the audience right now. Did you guys know this thing happened? I don't know how many people realize it. I don't think they did. I think it's surprising how many that don't. By the way, I really wish, while we're on the subject of random, what?
Dave in the chat, sorry, he snuck this one in. He's a Braves fan, but he's asking for no Bohica to start the Braves season. That would mean the Marlins would sweep them this weekend.
Just a prediction. Take it to the bank, David. Dave, take it to the bank. That it will not be a platinum Bohica. It's not a Bohica, it's a platinum Bohica. You've already suffered several Bohicas. Seven Bohicas have occurred. After the first Bohica, the rest are Bohicas.
Right, so that would be starting in game 2 would be the
game
first Bohica.
Game 2 was the first real Bohica. The first game is just the first game. When you lose that game, now we get into subsequent Bohicas.
Bohica?
Yeah, then it becomes a Bohica. So the first one's just a game. Second game, we lost it again.
Right.
Third game is what Bohica stands for. Fourth game is what Bohica stands for. Right.
Yeah. Second game is Bohica 1. And third game is Bohica 2. It staggers back.
And then Bohica 3 and Bohica 4 and Bohica 5. And in the Braves case, Bohica 6 and Bohica 7. Well, if they lose tomorrow, they got 6 Bohicas.
No, 7 because they played 4 against the Padres.
Yeah, but the first one's not a Bohica; it's just a loss.
Oh, yes, 6.
So
Bohicas.
They've had 6 Bohicas and 7 losses.
Yes,
10 Bohicas add up to the platinum Bohica, and the only way they can get to platinum Bohica is to get swept by the Marlins.
Right, but 10 total. 10 total.
Also, it would have to be 11.
No, no.
See, we're getting
to make sure here.
We got to get to find our terms.
No, we have to grandfather in, rubber stamp.
The first one?
No, that 10 in a row is a platinum Bohica. 10 losses. That might be the 9th Bohica.
It's the 9th Bohica, but because you've lost 10 in a row, it qualifies as a platinum Bohica now.
That's correct. Yes. We can't move that goalpost to 11. Not now.
That's true. I just realized we did have a problem. Good thing we defined our terms and changed. We made a caveat little to the rules here.
Yeah.
Because 10 in a row is a platinum Bohica. It's just it's an unwavering truth.
Because if you broke the streak to start it, think about Florida State Miami series, right? It would be Bohica for the first time in a while, right? That would be the first one. And then the second one is the first Bohica.
So if they do get to 10, if the Braves and the Braves are not going to lose 10 in a row, I'm putting all my money on the Atlanta Braves starting. When do I want to take? Who pitches for the Braves tomorrow? I haven't checked. Let's see.
I'm going to guess Schwelly.
It is Schwelly.
Ooh, they need that one. That's the one.
Schwelly pitches tomorrow, 7:15 against Max Meyer. We're going all in on the Braves. Can I get that right now? Let's go all in on the Atlanta Braves to pace the Miami Marlins with Schwelly on the bump tomorrow. And then Saturday, what do we got? We got
Saturday is for the whole thing, because Sunday you get Sandy versus some guy named Holmes who has a 7.20 ERA. So they gotta make hay on Friday or Saturday through the Braves.
I don't know that the Marlins are equipped to do much about it, I don't care who's on the hill, but all right. Now, I know the Marlins took 3 or 4 from the Pirates this year, but we're awful.
Yeah. They took 1 of 3 from us.
We can't hit. Although you had some scares. An
yesterday.
11-inning scare, yeah. I mean,
yeah, it was 2 outs, 2 on. It was a 3-run ball game, and Alonso went to deep center. Thank God. Or else.
You would have.
Or else they'd be 5-2. Or else the Fish would be 5-2.
Oh, I just appreciate that baseball's carrying the day. Let's talk football, though. We'll switch gears. We'll do it next. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Authorities set out on the water Saturday morning in St. Mark's to search for a missing boater. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission and the Coast Guard are working together to look for the boater after they were reported missing at about 9 a.m. The search is ongoing, so the information is limited. As of Saturday evening, the Coast Guard had a helicopter on scene, as they will be the lead agency for search and rescue efforts. FWC will take the lead in working to figure out what exactly led up to this investigation. Airlines at the Tallahassee International Airport are projecting flight impacts due to a TSA security checkpoint outage. The security checkpoint is experiencing delays due to TSA's machines being down. The airport tweeted Friday morning. Due to the outage, the airport said travelers are advised to arrive earlier than usual, since the airport anticipates longer TSA lines and flight check-in lines. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs level off around 87 this afternoon under partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the south 10 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 66. Tonight, mainly cloudy skies expected. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun with fog early tomorrow. Highs around 85. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 81.
Well, it's so great being back in the Oval Office looking out over the White House lawn. Speaking of lawns, I got to tell you about the Lawn Johns. They're the best. Anything from basic lawn care like mowing, edging, weed eating, and they can do even a full landscape design. Believe me, it's incredible. In fact, Elon and I have big plans, and we're going to grow grass on the moon, and guess who's going to be doing the lawn up there? Yeah, you got it. The Lawn Johns. Call them right now, or for a free estimate, you can visit them online at thelawnjohns.com.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti, right?
Yeah,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And, but
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You think Amari Williams can play both ways?
Can, yes. Should he? Not sure. But he can.
That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
That's an athlete right there.
Mm-hmm. I just think it would be pretty cool to watch, to see if he could do it. Pretty cool is whatever, right? That's great, Jeff. I'm glad you think that'd be cool. Can we get the most effective use of our players?
Man.
That's fine.
That reminds me of an all-time question to Jimbo. you ever thought about putting Greg Reed in on offense for any sub packages? Well, we have plenty of players. It'd be pretty cool, though. Like good old Dustin.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool, though. It's one of the great ones.
The thing is, for Amari, you could argue that he is far more necessary on the defensive side than the offensive side. That tight end room appears to be quite loaded, and they continually talk about Chase Lofton's emergence early in his career.
Yeah, this is where I pump the brakes. Perhaps, Tom.
It's perhaps. But he would be fourth on the list even without Amari Williams being considered right now, with Randy Pittman, Landon Thomas, and Biscuit. So, I mean, that's a loaded-ass room. How many tight ends are you going to roll out there?
Yeah, it's a loaded-ass room is the way to say it. You're right. I want to give Gus Malzahn credit for something. You've yet to hear me do that. Mm-hmm. That is the proper attire at practice, sir. It's a good look for you. That's a good look. I tired of the too tight sweatpants from one of our previous coordinators. What are we doing out here? Let's put on some clothes like a man. You're a professional. Gus has got the nice baggy shorts like he's going to play a round of golf with seniors. And I'm proud of him. I think it's a good look for him.
Not seniors, old school guys.
Seniors. And it's that proper knee length. We don't need to see excessive thigh out here. He's buttoned up. He's good to go. He's ready to get with the program. I like it. I was like, that's right. That fits you. That fits you perfect.
The visor does too. He would not look proper in a ball cap.
Listen, I know what the climb is. FSU football is going to release the climb. You're going to be watching these highlights. It's meant to inspire you. It's meant to make you forget they went 2-10 last year. It's meant for you to get excited about a player, a coach, a moment, a build towards something. Got it. Understand it. We certainly live in an era of slogan and state-run media. I got it. But I would just say that I like it. Partly, I do. I like it. I watch it. They got me. And B, I like listening to Tony White at practice. More of that, please, on the climb. Just him talking to players. Even Gus. Gus was good, too. I was shocked to say it, but he was.
Look, that's the part of the gig where you better be. He wouldn't be around this long if he wasn't good at handling practice and telling players to redo drills or address them and break them down after practice. I mean, yes, these are all skills that you better have in droves, and you have to be the head man at Auburn for as long as he was and to get hired again as a head coach somewhere else.
Also, I would note that even just the drills in which they're hitting the dummies as manned by somebody else was more violent than what we had seen a year ago. More violent, just that drill, than anything we saw in practice a year ago. All right. Maybe it's happening. I'll dare to dream. And I know that it's nonsense. I know what they're showing us. It's fine. They're not going to show you the kid that drops the pass repeatedly. They're not going to show you the lack of effort that's on display, whether it is or it isn't. I wouldn't know. We're not at practice.
No, there is some of that, apparently. That's according to Mike. That's not me doing a loaded thing like, oh, I wonder what he knows. No, Mike said it on Tuesday. It'll come in the next iteration of Coach Cameron Translates. I didn't mean to do that. That was just a reflex. I apologize.
Yeah, we'll use that.
We have challenged, some guys have responded well, and we've challenged some others to elevate. Like, okay, interesting. I mean, some guys are already along for the ride. Some.
I was having this conversation about high school football yesterday. My son continues to rehab after the surgery. He's in great shape. He's been cleared. He's starting to get after it. I've updated it all along either way, so I might as well continue to update here now. And, he's eager to get back after it for spring football, eager to get back after it, especially in the fall. I don't know that contact is possible in the spring, but he's going to run the routes. He's going to do the lifting. He's going to do all the drills. He's going to do all those things. But anyhow, we were just talking about, they got a new coach, and we were going back and forth about what should he expect and this and that. And I said, listen, you guys were effing terrible last year. So this is very applicable to FSU. It's the same thing. There's a freedom that comes with the season following one in which you're awful. I know this too from way back when. I was once on a 2-8 team. So what happens is a coach is free at that point. It's no holds bar. I got no chance. I don't have to be polite. I'm fighting for my job. You all suck. What's the worst that can happen? We lose some more games. I've lost a lot of them already. So you can leverage that when you are having these conversations with players. This is what we got mad about last year, is that the same guys kept getting rolled out there over and over and over again to do the same sorry thing. And many times that involved effort, which is inexcusable. I'll deal with a lack of talent. I'm not dealing with a lack of effort, ever. So if you're a receiver and you don't want to block, and you prove to me after I've called you out on it in the film room, we've seen it, I've told you you're not trying, the next time I see that, you're out. You have to follow up on that or you lose all credibility. You've lost the team. You've lost the locker room. You've lost the player. You've lost everybody. Now they don't believe you, ever. There's no way that you could go into this season and have idle threats be a part of your lexicon. This would have to be a thing. You shouldn't, let's put it this way. If you tell somebody in the press like he did the other day that, they had to challenge some guys about efforts, that better be the last time I ever hear that for that particular player. I don't know who it was. We're not there. I better never hear it again.
Well, yes, it was left nebulous on purpose, of course.
But there's no, what's the worst that can happen? You're up against it. Just the guy that's not trying gets told once and once only. Have a good one. We're moving on, baby. I'll start the freshman. What are we going to not execute and lose? We did a whole bunch of that.
Well, and now you have new capos underneath you that can make those determinations and make it even easier still on the head man, because you can, if you need to, shouldn't have to, but you can hide behind the fact that you have new guys in charge. And you say, hey, look, it's their show. Everybody gets a clean slate. What do you think? Because you were here for 3 years and you started 6 games for me last year, that you automatically were going to be imbued the ability to start 12 more? No. It's a new coordinator, new system. We'll see how it goes. There are enough guys that Mike is singling out for positive reasons, but I did find that interesting that he was willing to at least acknowledge the fact that they needed to ramp up after the scrimmage, and some guys were challenged to do so. Really? Find that interesting.
You can, the other aspect, somebody's asking this in the chat, but you are likely going to have to hit the portal again right after spring. Now, I know the market isn't great. You overpay. It's a tough thing to have to do, but there's some depth issues, in my opinion, on the defensive side of the ball. So you may have to go after some guys. The reason I bring it up is if you were going to go all out here to see where somebody was at mentally and physically, if you really weren't sure about somebody and they were at that stage of their career, meaning they'd been here for more than a year, they've been here a couple of years now, the moment of truth is upon us. You could go to war with them every day and practice and see if it breaks them, because if it does, you can move on without them. And they'll be hitting the portal.
Look, it's my sincere hope that there are a lot of exit announcements for the transfer portal. I know that that's an uncomfortable topic for a lot of people, but I would take it as a sign that not much has changed if there aren't exit portal stories that we need to file over the next month. Because look, especially on offense, Gus is the type of coach that is going to shrink the amount of players that hit the football field. We've got too many running backs and too many receivers. You could argue there are too many tight ends, but I like all of them. There's a lot of dudes, a lot of skill position dudes, and he's going to choose his favorite 3 or 4.
Well, yeah, his history suggests there aren't a lot of guys getting a lot of time. It's a select few.
So if you know you're not going to use them, they're in their 3rd or 4th year, or 5th in some circumstances.
Run them off.
Be honest with them. I think at that point, what do they want to stick around and not play? I would imagine that they would want to play. But last year we looked at this problem and we said, hey man, where's the outflow market coming from here? And we expected to see so many guys leave after spring, and it didn't happen. It also would be a sign to me that there is a new culture established and some guys aren't a fit, and we're not afraid to say, have a good day. I think that would be good.
There's a marriage here, though, that is interesting, Tom, because I think that part of the problem Did we breeze through the news that I not pay attention to? Did we do it? We're just
we hit the news.
We're in the middle of a conversation here. I lost track.
Got a little over 5
No,
minutes.
I'm not worried about time. I just wanted to make sure I didn't screw things up as I typically do. With
I'm sure it was terrible news.
We
did run.
We have occasional hard outs that I missed just because I'm talking. Hey, we're talking here. We've turned the radio broadcast into a podcast a long time ago. But anyhow, here's the thing. Part of the problem is that you can't run people off in mass that you need to run off if you're not recruiting well. That there's a hiccup there along the way. You're like, well, who are you replacing them with? Are there players any good that you've brought in that are going to replace these guys who maybe even those that aren't trying as hard as they need to are better than? I don't know. There's a reluctance, and it's probably in the back of your head. Now, I believe principally you should run those people off regardless. I mean, you can't have guys on your team that aren't going to give a full effort. I mean, you just can't. Yeah, I can't believe we had the conversation that it ever happened. I'm not talking about a guy who takes a playoff because he's tired or, he's been out there for, I mean, listen.
You could have a mental lapse on a drive where you're getting gashed and you see somebody and they just have a brain fart, or they have a moment where they do let go for a play.
Yeah, or they're exhausted.
That's not the same thing as multiple drives where you're going, oh, he's just jogging.
You're right. That's what I'm saying. That can't ever be part of the discourse. I don't understand how often we had to have that. I don't understand why we had to have it as often as we did anyhow. And it can't be a part of any sort of turnaround. I can't imagine we're really going to ever say that.
That's what I'm saying. To hell with the bottom 10% of the depth of your roster.
Right.
To hell with it.
We're saying the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be afraid of that. And if you have trepidation because you realize that you're not recruiting well enough, then that's another conversation you got to have with yourself. Yes, you got to look in the mirror and say, why am I pausing here?
No, I know.
Oh, wait, to cover up the fact that we're not good enough in this other part of what we're doing?
And it's a big part of what we do. It really is important.
I'll put it this way, without knowing the behind the scenes, and who does, but only Mike and the coaches know the extreme dynamics they go through day by day. But if that is a conclusion that is ever drawn and followed up upon, he's done. If that's your mental, well, I've got to cover up the fact that we can't recruit.
No, it's
we need
never
to keep some of these kids here.
This is the point. When you're up against it and mired in it, you never see the forest for the trees. It's lost on you. You may have a feeling. It may be a ominous feeling. There is a paranoid look. There are a lot of things, and that's what it is. It's the weight of the knowledge that you're refusing to believe is real.
Totally fair.
It's the stress one feels laying in bed for no reason, can't sleep. There's something eating at you for a reason, and you're searching to find out what it is. It's not always nefarious.
Yeah, I would just say, look at a specific player, and this is not a loaded statement, just because he fits the bill for seniority. If you had a problem with Shaheem Brown this offseason after last year's evidence, right? And I don't think that there is a problem because apparently he is back earlier from the injury than they suspected he would be back.
If I were him, I'd be excited to play for this group right now. I mean,
100%.
What the potential for my role in this defense? Yes.
But the potential being what it is, if you hesitate because you're not getting commitment or consistency, for what? What more do you have to lose?
Right. That's
one
my
more
point.
non-FCS game. That's how much more you have to lose.
Yeah, that's my point.
So he can go
it's no holds bar.
Right. And it's not about him specifically. It's just there might be some veterans that are fitting that bill. What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Let him go. And then send the message to the guys on the roster, and they go, about damn time. Like Edwin Joseph last year. I think it was Edwin Joseph.
Yeah. Let the young kid. What was it?
Free the youngins. If you don't want to be here, then leave.
I could have argued that you've lost your team when kids are tweeting that.
That was vocally him saying it running into practice. If you don't want to be here, then leave. He was because he knew the cameras would be rolling.
Yeah, but that's also not good. I mean, I don't mind. I love the attitude that he has where he's compelled to get these guys to compete and he's upset with what he's witnessing. I'm fine with that.
And look, he might be wrong in that dynamic, but judging by the way he plays and judging by the way the players ahead of him played, I tend to decide that he was right.
My man Shannon Young, I tell you about him every day, but this is really cool. He was just named again to the Scotsman Guide as one of the top 1% of originators in the country. It is a hard business, and he has really excelled with he and his real estate partners, and he is at a place now where top 1% of loan originators in the country. He is doing so with Cross Country Mortgage. That is an amazing feat. I want to say congratulations to him. He'll work hard for you. Believe me, relentless work out of Shannon. And kind enough to give to our golf tournament, Tom. And he is going to play in said tournament. We look forward to seeing Shannon. He's all about the Knowles, all about all things charity as well, and all about being a part of what we do here. So we appreciate that as well. Loansforknowles.com is where you want to go. Loansforknowles.com. And again, congratulations to Shannon, top loan originator for 2025.
It's going to be a lot of fun at that tournament. 2 weeks from today, a lot of mini games.
It's sneaking up, and we got more and more people contributing. You're going to hear their names as we go along. They've given back and allow us to have a lot of fun and prizes to give away too. It's going to be good.
There's 4 or 5 food and beverage stations, and
there's a Paloma station.
There is a Paloma
Tried and
station.
True Consulting came through, baby. I love Palomas.
Specifically for you, they did that.
Well, that's kind of
yes.
We'll tell you more about that.
And if you
later.
don't like Palomas, apparently you could just have a straight shot of tequila.
He doesn't like Palomas, but anyhow,
I would agree.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, they're delicious.
I don't need to be standing over that tee shot going. I'm not like Ira, who I could just go, ooh, boy, and then be done with it.
He does. Ooh.
He said 4 shots of tequila if they beat Alabama on the next smash. He's committed to it.
I think well, first of all, Ira's a man of his word, unlike Corey. Ira will do it.
But it's 4 regular shots. It's not 4 of the giant shotgun.
Well, that is the day that he and I were doing, and he did the shot the size of Texas.
So I think you do 2 of those. Yeah.
I want him to do 4 individual. I want to see him. I want to see the 4 shots. Hour number 2, fourth coming. Stay with.
Gather around Tallahassee. It's time to fire up the grill and make some unforgettable family memories, courtesy of Hearth and Patio. Whether it's juicy steaks, succulent burgers, or those special family recipe ribs, they've got the grills that will make your backyard the hottest spot in town. From gas to charcoal, they have the perfect grill for every meat lover's dream. Call Hearth and Patio today, where the quality of your cookout is their passion. Give them a call today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Ain't nothing but a G-Pod, baby.
I am 99% sure that is not how the lyrics go.
Well, you like remixes, right?
Of course.
Well, think of this as a Grassroots Coffee remix per se, because Grassroots Coffee is now in the single-serve coffee pod game.
Dude, those single-serve coffee pods and cups are weak sauce.
Not Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. They have more coffee in them than regular single-serve pods and cups.
Seriously?
And not only do they have more coffee, they have a built-in filter for better brewing. They fit in most Keurig machines, and they are fully compostable.
It's still the small batch, slow roasted coffee you love, so go to grassrootscoffee.com and get your box of G-Pods today.
Baby.
See? Remix!
Well, actually, that's more of an homage.
Grassroots Coffee, locally owned, locally roasted, and made for everyone, loved everywhere.
Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. So very good.
The best happy hour in the city is at Café de Martín and El Bar. All day, every day, you can find great deals at Café de Martín while enjoying the best outdoor seating Tallahassee has to offer. Sip away on 2-for-1 house wines, chilcanos, and margaritas all day long, Monday through Thursday. Plus 2-for-1 pisco sours and margaritas on Fridays and Saturdays, and 2-for-1 mimosas for Sunday brunch. Come join us at Café de Martín, where every hour is happy hour, in the Esposito Shopping Center on Capitol Circle Northeast.
On the front lines, fighting the insanity of the woke, it's Matt and Brett Oster with America in View.
Featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the corner pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to have joint practices with the Baltimore Ravens this upcoming season. That is according to JoeBucksFan.com. The two teams are going to play against each other in a preseason game in August, and they're going to have the joint practices for a couple days leading into that. In baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays, they lose to the Pittsburgh Pirates yesterday by a 4-2 score. Rays are off today. Tomorrow, they are going to open up a series against the Texas Rangers. The Miami Marlins, they lose in 11 innings yesterday to the Mets by a 6-5 score. Up next for the Marlins, they are going to take on the Atlanta Braves. That is a series that is scheduled to begin tomorrow. This Sports Flash is presented by Progressive. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo insurance and save with Progressive. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Let the dogs out!
It's Spruce, the new hardworking, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Hey, everybody, it's Ed Dean along with Roger Henderson, also with FloridaDaily.com. Just want to remind you, daily 4 to 6 in the afternoons right here in Tallahassee on Real Talk 93.3 FM. Roger, it is literally the 2 fastest hours anywhere in afternoon talk radio.
And if you think the country's going crazy, we'll help you make sense of it all.
Oh, yeah, we'll try to make some sense of it. Again, Monday through Friday in the afternoons, Ed Dean, Roger Henderson on 93.3.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch and Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Getting comfortable again with the day baseball going on, man. Just background noise, constant. It's a beautiful thing.
This has been just a wonderful reprieve to have this back in the rotation. It's literally in the rotation, just like probables. It comes back and you go, thank you, baseball.
Beautiful.
Every day you deliver.
So it's on and it's off to the side. You know, checking in on things like that. You know what else I was checking in on? I was checking in on Alabama, a write-up of Bill Connolly's.
Oh, I thought it was our guy.
Oh, out there complaining about DeBoer and
Yeah.
his dress habits. No, the article is entitled "The Most Interesting College Football Teams This Spring," and so by definition, again, there's this spring thing. It's list season, be more list season when we get into the summer. They're talking an awful lot about scrimmages and spring football, but Alabama was the first one on his list, and the only reason I cared about that is, well, hey, we play Alabama out the chute this year, and I knew there would be talk of who's going to play quarterback. Do they like their quarterback? And week 1, Ty Simpson, the leader in the clubhouse at quarterback. Do you know about Ty Simpson? 6'2", 215 pounds, Martin, Tennessee. He's thrown for a grand total of 167 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Well, yeah, at least that was what we got from him a year ago. Before that, he got in mop-up duty for 179 yards. So we don't know a lot. I would guess if he were, recruited to Alabama, he played against Mercer. He did get in against Wisconsin at the very end and threw for 30 yards, Tom. Just trying to go through and look here. He threw an incomplete pass and a ass-kicking at the hands of Oklahoma. He went 0 for 1 there. But I'm kind of curious if there's excitement about Ty Simpson. Is there some worry about Ty Simpson? Just where he was at. I was, that was the gist of it. I was looking at that story. Okay, most interesting teams, right? He's class of top 40 recruit, class of 2022. The only reason he seems to be getting the start or the guy is that he's just had the most amount of experience.
Oh, really? I thought that they had acquired some. Is it a younger player who's behind him on the depth chart? Like that's a DeBoer guy. That is a system guy. I thought that this would be the Ty kid. Maybe not.
Incoming top 100 dual threat prospect Keelan Russell.
Oh, maybe that's him.
He's going to have to fend off the up-and-comer as the season progresses is what the thought is over there. That's what you're talking about, keeping tabs on all of that. Alabama plays FSU. Alabama plays Wisconsin and Georgia by the end of September. Okay. I'll be paying attention. I want to hear the doubt. I want to hear the concern. I want the churning of negativity, of course. We've already got our fair share. Everybody, I was on a show yesterday out of Georgia, the show, and it was funny to listen to the hosts basically say, so any chance that they're better at all? That's kind of the lead. Like, the expectations are so low for Florida State, it's just not a normal conversation at all. It's just sort of like, well, I mean, golly, guys, what do we say on the heels of that? But with Alabama, even though they're disappointed with 9-4, they're still very lofty expectations. They were that close to making the playoff last year because, of course, it's slanted.
Yes.
But they were still, if it had been a 16-team playoff, they'd have been in, along with Ole Miss. And everybody else that plays in the SEC would have found their way in. South Carolina to boot.
Yeah, South Carolina would have been in.
Yeah.
100%.
I just named the three that would have. There would have been one more. Go ahead and throw in, I don't know, whoever you want for good measure. Florida at the end of the year. They win a few games in a row.
Well, trending very strong. It came down to LSU and Florida, and we went with Florida because of the head-to-head win.
So I am curious to see if they'll be dealing with their own set of frustrations like we all are here. I don't even know that we're frustrated anymore. We're just kind of,
Well, I think we are.
Well, I mean, I'm mad that we can't do something about it for months on end, but it's not a refreshed new anger. It's just the reality of our situation.
I think we're right now watching our wager and seeing whether or not it's going to pay off at the tables. It could be a blackjack hand. It could be a game of craps and no more bets. And there go the dice and they're rolling and you're just watching and you're going, okay, what do we think? Is this actually going to work? Because that's Mike made a choice. He had to fire the coordinators. He made choices on replacements. We feel however we feel about those coordinators. And then we're all watching whether or not you're a Gus first or Tony first or whatever. I think everybody at the same place after they look at the change and they say, I like this guy, I don't like this guy. They go, all right, well, is it going to work? I don't know. Let's see. We're in wait and see. We're in let's see mode.
I'm more interested. Well, I shouldn't say it that way. When people, they've all heard me talk about how excited I am regarding Tony White. But again, I've said repeatedly that maybe it'll work. I mean, I don't know. We don't know. And where that stems from isn't my second guess in his coaching acumen at all. In fact, I'm excited about that. It's just, do we have the personnel? You know, do we have the players here? Were they on roster when he got here, where he could run the system he wants to run and run it not just competently, but run it well? And the problem you have is that I don't know when you're going to know that, because is it a fair barometer, Alabama?
No, even if it was a middling ACC team or a like talented ACC team, I don't think it's a barometer because game ones are there's a lot of noise.
Right. Well, you would get a second chance, but if it's bad against a middling ACC team, that would be ominous. If it's bad against Alabama, I'm not sure that it is because it could be personnel related.
Yeah, it could be.
Specific to personnel.
Well, that's one where you have to look at the trenches and then have a takeaway. The problem is, I know I'll personally be burned. Let's say you lose the trench battle.
Well,
significantly.
It feels like you will.
I mean, it's a favorite to happen.
Yes, it is.
But last year, when we lost the trench battle to Georgia Tech and then to Boston College, I looked at the Memphis game against Troy and I said, well, surely they're not that bad because Troy is winning enough up front.
Yeah.
And it kind of didn't matter. So that was troublesome. Then they went split zone against Cal and you're like, okay, bleeding stopped. That looks a little bit better. And then it just got worse again. So it's, yeah. You might not know till mid-October.
Yeah. Well, when you're talking about split zone, you're talking about the offensive line. I think personnel-wise from Tony White, I'm just looking at the defensive side of the ball specifically.
Sorry, I'm thinking O-line. That's what I usually think about.
No, I got it. I mean, yes, those are two. The referendums are always on the line of scrimmage. So I understand where your head went. I'm just saying that I don't know that we're going to know anything about Tony or much of anything about Tony because of the Alabama game. Yeah. Like my biggest fear as we sit here in April, my biggest fear is that Alabama lines up and bludgeons Florida State. Like if I were facing Florida State based on the lack of heart and skill and talent and depth that I saw a year ago and what teams could do to them, not named Alabama, I would line up, and to some degree, I would do this if I were Alabama. I'd actually look at that Georgia game, for example. I mean, I know that we always just cast it off as a anomaly because so many players opted out. That's fair, but it was as lopsided as it could possibly be. It was not competitive, even when their backups were in. But anyhow, the point would be this. If I were them, I'd say, let's test them. Let's see if they got any heart at all. We're going to line up and run downhill right at you. We have a bunch of horses. We've recruited at an extremely high level on the offensive line. We have NFL-bound linemen, and certainly they never really suffer from poor play at the running back position. So let's just see. Pound it. Are you tough? Can you handle it? Because if the answer is no, this game's over before it gets started. It doesn't matter what Gus is. It doesn't matter, period. You're going to get your ass beat if you can't stop them from just running the ball.
I think what's coming is going to be a challenge, a crisis of confidence, and then we'll see. Like that's the moment. Because right now, Tony White is doing his best to
build him
up and stop them from spiraling. I think he's about tired of that. You know, judging by how he spoke on what happened last week on Thursday in Red Zone, they got beat and it spiraled out of control and it was touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. And it sounds like they improved in scrimmage number 1, which is weighted more than a practice because it's full contact. So they had their downs, but they had some ups too. But that's a scrimmage and that's practice. I think that same doubt will creep up again in a game. And it probably will be in that first game. The question is, when that doubt surfaces, has Tony done enough in the lead up to get their attention, whoever it is, grab the face mask of the leader and say, calm down. Everything's going to be all right. Trust the training. That's the work he's doing right now. But I think that's most certainly coming for Florida State the first month of the year. How could it not?
I wonder, Tom. I understand what you're saying. I don't know that I worry about their confidence being something that leads to a spiraling effect.
I just think a moment. I'm not saying it's a spiral. I'm saying it's a moment of, ooh, that didn't look great. Everybody calm down. This is not turning into a free fall. You're going to get checked.
they're going to get checked. I question. I think the thing we're going to learn early in the game is simply, are they big enough, strong enough, fast enough? Defensively, do you have enough talent? Because the confidence thing can happen for a variety of reasons, but if it's a talent problem or a depth problem or a strength and size problem, then that's not anything you can overcome, whether you're confident or not.
I think frontline, D-line, they do. You got to worry about second wave. And then how many linebackers do you have? Sounds like Herring's doing well. How's Stephon Thompson doing? Lavalley's not available. That sucks.
When is Lavalley available?
Spring, I thought.
Well,
that was it. Like, he's out for spring, I think. I could have that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was part of the update a week ago.
I didn't know he was going to miss the whole spring.
Maybe it's a portion of it. I'll pause on that one.
Well, I was really high on him, and he's got a whole lot of what for to him, and people are excited about the physicality he brings to the table. But if he's not practicing,
you could need three of them at any given time. Mm-hmm. So who has the holdover? It's Juice. Is it Juice and Herring? I mean, this group is talking about Omar Graham. Everybody does. But maybe this group is competent, and so therefore you get more out of OG.
Really pull in for all of that to happen. We both love Juice. Really want to see him succeed. He's a smart kid. I know he cares deeply. He works very hard. I haven't had to single him out at any point. Again, it's a question of whether or not he's good enough. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. The answer is still out there.
Yeah. Second wave of defensive line. Is Jenkins going to be healthy and ready to go?
I don't think so.
Okay. But you love what you have in Darrell and James Williams at 260. That plays different in your mind than the kid that you saw toward campus in December, and you go, is that a third down specialist? It better be. But if you got Darrell and James to anchor that with a couple of the transfers, Daniel Lyons, hopefully he's healthy enough. That didn't sound great from a couple of weeks ago.
Didn't sound great.
Like, where's that coming from? Like, where's that
transfer
second
portal?
Wave? Well, yes, especially if you want to run 80 plays. That's the other. If you want to run a ton of plays, you're going to need more guys in your front to be able to handle that.
Yeah, I'm nervous about it. Very nervous about it. It's disconcerting. That game in particular, not the ACC games, obviously not the next two games, just that game. I'm worried about. This isn't the same as like, if we lose to Bama, our season's over. That's not what I'm saying at all.
It could be Blake Nicholson too, Seth, because this is what happens when you name like three guys and you don't name one. There's I don't heard any whispers of like injury or anything like that, but just haven't heard his name mentioned so far and from the coaching staff as well. Blake has really taken the ball and run with it. We haven't heard that yet. Heard more about Graham and Herring, specifically a lot about Herring.
Well, I knew Herring was going to come in and do some things. Should have got him the year before. Could have. Didn't bother. That's how you get hurt. It's how you get hurt. It's troublesome. How you lose, if you lose. If you win, no matter how you win, off and running, could be an interesting year. If you lose, how do you lose?
No, it's important. And again, Kurt has just turned it on. He says, boy, I just turned this on. Not a lot of positive stuff.
No, we're not being negative.
We're speaking specifically about the Alabama challenge, not about the season as a whole.
Just the challenge of Alabama. Yeah. We had a lot of fun in the first hour about a lot of different subjects. No. This isn't like a woe is us sort of thing. I'm just saying.
Specific to game one against that group.
Well, I was thinking about it because of the Bill Connolly article that came out today. He listed 10 teams that he found to be the most interesting. You could agree, disagree. Doesn't really matter. I was reading that during the break, and the first one on his list was Alabama. And I was taking a look at their quarterback projection and what they like, what they don't like. Ty Simpson's done very little. We don't know anything about him. He's had precious few snaps, really hardly any under DeBoer. So we don't really know. He's the leader in the clubhouse. They got a young phenom, a guy a dual threat prospect, top 100 recruit who they think will push him for the starting job. That's all well and good. That's fascinating. But what I'm really looking at is how do we match up defensively against their offense? Because I think they're going to take the tack to try to bludgeon. which is what I would do. I would test Florida State's chin. I would test. Do you want to be here? Do you can you play this game with us? Do you have what it takes? Because I don't know that you do. I didn't see it a year ago. I'm always, if I'm in the SEC, going to question an ACC team's toughness. I'm going to do it. It's not always a fair thing, but it's what I'm going to do if I'm an opposing coach. And I'm going to double down on that against Florida State, who showed no real desire to be a part of anything a year ago.
No, understand that. Outside of our bubble, that is Florida State's reputation. Is that of a group that will lay down and quit.
Soft.
Yes, that's
soft.
We have a soft reputation.
It sucks. And you have to work hard to overcome that. People will test that over and over and over again until you prove it resoundingly that that's not who you are. Then the modus operandi changes for your opponent. Then they start to see it repeatedly on film. No, they'll bow their neck now. We're just running into a brick wall here. They're going to show up for this. So we got to think of another way. And I want, obviously you want to try to prove that early.
Hey, and you want to have a positive feeling. That comes with something in the stands too.
Oh,
the people
buddy.
watching in the stands after the third drive of, and maybe they score on their first drive because they call a trick play or something. But the third drive that you see, 1st and 10, they run the ball and you go, oof, man, Herring is not having it.
Flying in.
You look around to your fellow Knoll compatriots who you don't know. They're strangers but acquaintances. And you just look around and you go,
no and nods.
That? You guys see that?
No and nods abound. Think back to, well, obviously now this is not going to be the 2013 Knowles, but man, there were games in the first quarter when that defense took the field that you had pity on your opponents. You would watch early in a game and go, oh, mercy, this is not going to go well for them. Guys are getting driven 7 yards into the backfield. This is going to be a let's run the ball and get out of here kind of game for those guys. This is going to be let's shorten the ass kicking here, guys.
There's a couple of those. You'd see the opponent come into Doak and they'd be kind of dancing around during pregame. You're like, that. Do you know what's about to happen to you?
Right.
I'm glad that you're having a pleasant moment now, but it's not about to be pleasant at all.
The thing is, though, that's not this team, and we know it's not this team. I just want to know where on the scale from that team to where we were a year ago we are. Where are we in that? That is a wide-ranging assessment.
That's about as far as it gets.
Right. You couldn't be further apart. Did we get somewhere closer to the middle? Did we get somewhere closer to the middle this offseason? You're going to have to be to give yourself any chance to be in the game in the second half against Alabama.
Right. The middle is the equator of care.
They are standing tall on the equator of care. I do want to mention that our friends at Tried and True Consulting have ponied up, been big supporters for some time now. Don and Joe, Rusty, those guys are fantastic. I often tell you about what they do with point of sale and ad boards and all that sort of thing. But today I want to tell you that they came through big time, helping us out at the golf tournament and contributing to the cause for charity, the Second Harvest of the Big Bend. Tom, in fact, you got that call this morning from Don.
I did.
What?
I did.
And you did at least mention that we've got the Paloma stand that I'm pumped about.
So there's the Paloma station. There's
closest
also
to the pin. Right?
Tequila shots if you want them. There's going to be tequila giveaways, and then you raffle in the 50-50. But here's the thing. We have a lot of awesome hole-in-one prizes. Never on hole 6 because that's where we've had 2 already.
I know, yeah.
In the tournament. Brief Capital City history. But the hole-in-one prize is, while decadent, like a $45,000 Acura from Proctor Acura.
Thank you, Proctor. Thank you, Proctor.
Or choices on things like a Scotty Cameron putter and 2 Vokey wedges or a back patio fire pit set for hole-in-one prizes.
Doesn't suck.
How about a closest to the pin prize of $300 to Callaway?
Doesn't suck at all.
CTP, not hole-in-one. So if you win, anybody can win the closest to the pin. 300 bones to Callaway, and that's all from Tried and True. They funded it.
Tried and True came through. They always do. Poet didn't know it. Give them a call today. Go to triedandtrueconsulting.com. Man, I've been impressed from day one. Happy to collaborate with my boys at Tried and True Consulting. Jeff Cameron, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hey, everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better better rates. And if you were thinking about buying, or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing NMLS 373031.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
When I get home from work, I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Pools and Spas to put my pool in the back. I call Swain Pools and Spas. You know, I'm soaking up some fun when I want to.
Truckloads of new and used Caldera and Hot Spring Spas are available now at Swain Pools and Spas. Don't wait. Get to Swain Pools and browse the best inventory to find the spa of your dreams. These won't last long, so come see us today. Just look for the huge sign on Tharp Street or call 386-7113 for Swain Pools and Spas.
I know what you're thinking right now. Where can I find a place to get my car fixed and also check out some awesome new hot tubs and spas while I wait? Well, you're in luck. Because when you bring your car or truck in to get serviced at Tallahassee Car Care, it's under the same roof as Swain Pools and Spas for tires, brakes, batteries, tune-ups, oil changes, and all the service you need to get back on the road. Choose the certified technicians at Tallahassee Car Care. Drop by our shop on Tharp Street or visit online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
The best happy hour in the city is at Café de Martín and El Bar. All day, every day, you can find great deals at Café de Martín while enjoying the best outdoor seating Tallahassee has to offer. Sip away on 2-for-1 house wines, chilcanos, and margaritas all day long, Monday through Thursday. Plus 2-for-1 pisco sours and margaritas on Fridays and Saturdays, and 2-for-1 mimosas for Sunday brunch. Come join us at Café de Martín, where every hour is happy hour, in the Esposito Shopping Center on Capitol Circle Northeast.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Do I get a retroactive hole-in-one prize? Chris, I knew that was coming. You don't, buddy. But I was there to see it. Well, not see it, hear it. And to witness the run across the course and the hug. Which is sweet.
Yeah, I don't know. We could give away some things on hole 6 for a hole-in-one, but the way these insurance policies work, you kind of have to have a certain distance. And it wasn't it for the white tees on number 6. It's too short. But
right,
that doesn't mean that it's not an exceptional hole-in-one, because you got to go a club and a half up because it's up the hill.
You and I were together a few weeks back, and I nearly holed it. That was the closest I've come in a long time. I hit the 9-iron that was right to left and kind of rolled by to the back about 6 feet. Damn it! I still don't have one.
Yeah, that hole has some magical powers. It's got a magnet to it. I was actually as close as I've been since the hole-in-one. this 2-3 years ago is that.
Yeah. Ooh.
The thing is, it's okay because you can't see it going up the hill.
Yeah, you have no
anyway.
idea whether you just missed it.
So
like, who knows? It could have rimmed out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's better that I don't know.
It is much better.
It's
that you
better that I don't know at all.
Aaron writes, Jeff, I like how you think. You don't sugarcoat anything, but deep down, all of us fans know we are nowhere where we need to be. And I miss the days where we used to destroy people and compete. Well, Aaron, I thank you, but I really miss those days too. I want so desperately for that to return, and all of our conversations are born out of that desire. You know, I actually responded to somebody yesterday, I think it was. I haven't gone back to see if there was a response back, but there was a conversation. I got mentioned on the message boards about, I guess, my approach in the offseason this year, which was that, I'm not trying to build them up. Well, I can't see them, so I don't have a means by which to build them up. But also, after learning a very valuable lesson, hopefully the coaches did too, meaning the head coach, I wouldn't anyhow. I would tell you about individual players that I thought were playing well or that looked like they could play the part. But collectively, I wouldn't really venture a guess until we see us against Alabama, until we see us against a name team. Even a road game against Virginia will tell us something. But the practices, I've learned my lesson with the influx of players coming and going, it is sometimes hard to get a read of what you are, especially at a place like Florida State currently, because the way they're constructed now is to just rely heavily on the portal. They have pretty much failed in recruiting. And so they have to rely heavily in terms of overall success on portal evaluation. Now, they've recruited some good players. That's not to suggest they haven't recruited any good players. They have, but they're not recruiting at Florida State standards in the manner that you're referring to, Aaron, regarding destroying people and dominating. They're not recruiting to that level. So they have to fall back on portal play. And I think evaluating teams who rely heavily on the portal is going to be very difficult. We're going to find that was kind of a benchmark, a new benchmark, a tipping point, if you will, for the way that we view what a team is or is not. Gone are the days of assuming much of anything about a team or a program if they're portal heavy. Now, if you recruit 5-star, if you're one of the very few programs in America who routinely recruits top 3, top 4 classes year in and year out and brings in 4, 5, 6 5-star recruits every cycle, it's a little different for you. Let's solve for the future with our friends from ISF right now, and we'll do it by talking this very, very subject. ISF.com, of course. I'll tell you more about them in a moment, but since we're in the midst of solving for the future, this is all part of the bigger picture, the things they've got to do better. In the interim, though, this snapshot coming up, it is hard to know. I mean, I don't know how they're going. First of all, in addition to the portal, they got new coaches. So we'll see what they are. It does depress me to some extent. I don't think they're ready, anywhere close to ready for prime time. But that's not what we're judging them on this year. I don't like having to lower the bar. I don't like feeling as if there's certain teams you just simply can't compete with right now if you're Florida State. And I think there are some teams you simply cannot compete with right now at Florida State.
Yeah, that's certainly, I think, true. Maybe not all the teams on our schedule.
I think of course not.
Compete with those teams on the schedule, but if you're talking about Ohio State,
you're not
Oregon,
you're not competing with it. You're taking ass kickings.
Right, Georgia, yeah.
Yep.
Well, maybe.
Georgia's killing you. They're killing you.
Well, they might treat us like Georgia Tech, and the next thing you know.
Well, they might.
If you're looking at the future in 3 terms, the immediate term, the medium term, and the long term, the medium term is the one I feel worst about. The long term, I feel fine.
Well, because we're going to have a landing spot. Yeah.
Yeah. The immediate term, I think it's going to be a bounce back year. To what extent, we'll see. But I think it's going to be a year that you're going to qualify as, they did what they were supposed to do. The medium term, I find fascinating because recruiting wise, these coordinators could be here briefly if they both have successful runs at Florida State.
Yes.
So where are the kids going to come from and how are they going to stick with Florida State? I could see maybe one of Gus's sergeants staying behind, Coach Harris or Herb Hand maybe staying behind, because it is Florida State. If he takes another job, I mean, Florida State doesn't suck. With Tony, well, I mean, come on now.
They went 2-10
as a program and a landing spot for a job.
Yeah.
If he took the Arkansas job, I don't know. I think I'd probably stay here. If all
they're going with him to the SEC is what they're going to do, Tom. But anyhow,
my point would be with the coordinators, if you are successful in the immediate term, they're going to get job offers. Or can you keep them? Can you retain them? Because you kind of need to retain them to retain the 2026 recruiting class. And that would be where the medium term concern comes in. We do need to get better at high school recruiting.
Much.
If Tony White turns this into a top 35 or top 40 defense, and Gus turns this into a top 30 offense, how much do you need to do to keep them around so that your recruiting class, which will show more interest because you're winning and you're showing improvement, how much do you have to spend to either keep the coaching staff or the recruiting class here? That's the hard part. I'm planning for success in the short term and solving for the future. But how do you beget more success from a good run with coordinators who aren't here for 5 years? There's no way they're both here for probably not even 3.
Yeah. I was going to put the over under at 2.5. 2.5 years for the new coordinators. Those weren't long-term hires at all.
So when you're trying to talk about recruiting and bringing in the necessary dudes to whoop ass and dominate, I mean, you might make some headway during the season, but I personally am going to be afraid in October. If we're winning football games, well, that's great. Who is his primary recruiter? It was Tony. Okay.
Yeah, you'll be nervous.
Yeah.
Well, this is part of the vicious cycle you find yourself in. What is they're going to be successful this year look like? Because you just said that you thought they'd be successful.
I think eight's a success, even if you lose all the 4 games to the Big Four.
Clemson, Miami, Alabama, Florida.
I think 8-4 still is a successful retort to 2-10. Anything beyond that, I mean, if it's 8-4 with a bad loss and a win over one of the Big Four, still a success. But I think eight would do the trick to be successful. It doesn't mean you're getting an A. It means you're getting a B, which is a successful grade.
Yeah, I've tried to project what does 8-4 do for the following season. And you get into the weeds with this. You start going, well, okay, so that'd be year 7 and then 8. And start compiling a whole lot of.
Well, if you went 8-4 and you retained both coordinators, I feel a lot better about the medium term for success. But if you go 8-4 and you do just enough to lose one of your coordinators, now it's a yellow alert. And if you go 8-4 and you score a big win over Bama or Clemson,
Miami, you're hosting Miami. You're
Miami.
hosting Miami.
All
Win the game against Miami. You're at Clemson, and Bama's out-recruited you by leaps and bounds for years.
Whichever one it is, it's going to help you in recruiting. There's no doubt. But if you go 8-4 and you score one of those landmark wins and both coordinators leave, is Knighton sticking around? Is Cooper? Who is sticking around to help hold those commitments firm when you lose a coordinator in that hypothetical scenario? Or are you just willing to part with a whole hell of a lot of money to keep the coaches here so that your recruiting class stays intact for another cycle?
Yeah, listen, they clearly, the hires they made this year are centered around finding some sort of equilibrium, like getting back to sturdy footing. The hires that they made were, they don't want to have to fire Mike. They want Mike to get it turned around. They like Mike. They certainly wish it hadn't happened the way that it did, but they're just trying to get him back on stable footing. But the problem you have when you start this cycle of having to fire coaches and bring in new coaches and rely heavily on the portal is that you don't have a basis for stability. Now those guys who are upwardly mobile, especially in the case of Tony White, are looking to parlay your job to another job. I don't believe that Gus Malzahn just wants to hang out and be an OC for the next 5 years and then retire. I believe he'd like to turn this into another head coaching job. I think if he could get that offer at a place like Arkansas, he would take the job. I might be wrong. Maybe he does want to be here, stabilize, just be an OC. Maybe.
So Tony raises a point. He says it's all about the head coach. Kids got to Georgia, and they went to Georgia for Kirby, not the assistants, just how Saban kept it going after he lost assistants repeatedly. Does Mike have that in him?
Well, he won't unless he wins, and this is the whole thing. You got to win games, and then you have it in you.
Maybe.
He wasn't recruiting great anyhow.
They didn't go 2-10. Kirby never went 2-10. Nick never went 2-10. So any success this year is going to be pinned on the coordinators from a negative recruiting standpoint. You'd have to overcome that and then knock your next hires out the park. Like, it would be on you again to replenish your coordinator losses with excellent hires that could close the kids. That's the difference in the Kirby and Nick Saban argument when they lose coordinators. They don't go 2-10, and they didn't need to bring in.
Well, this is if you want to negatively recruit against Mike, or you want to have the argument against Mike, it's an easy one to have. You can say exactly what you just said. No great coach has gone 2-10 in his 5th year. None of them. Now, we are in an ever-changing landscape of college football, and we might see drastic changes that do not resemble the norms of the past.
But that's why it feels like if you land the plane for 2025 and you have a good season, God forbid it's 9-3, so you beat all the teams you should and you score a bonus win.
Let's revel in that fleeting 9-3 thought.
That package deal has to include retention of the coordinators. It has to.
Well, listen, that it may have to, but I'm telling you, if Tony White gets a head coaching offer that's a reasonable job offer, he's taking it. I don't care how much you want to keep him. He's gone. It's a head coaching job, and he wants to be a head coach. I'm not saying he gets the offer to go to, Alcorn State or like some small school. I'm saying he gets a chance to go be a head coach at some, reasonably sized Power 4 conference team. He's taking the job. And I'm not knocking smaller schools. I should have said East Tennessee State. Like, he's not doing that. He's going to go wherever. I mean, if he gets an offer to a big-time school that's a Power 2 or a Power 4, he's gone. Yeah. Tony, can Mike ever be the guy with 2-10 on his resume?
We're about to find out.
This is why.
Ooh, that's not good.
Well, no, we placed the odds. We did place the odds. And this is why. Oh, I was talking about this and I lost track. I knew we got to go to break. I responded to something on the site where somebody said, he lumped me in with people that want Mike fired. I didn't say I wanted Mike fired. I said 2-10 is fireable. It's a fireable offense. It is. It just is. Everybody knows that. It's not, we're not children. 2-10 is a fireable offense. At Florida State, it's a fireable offense. If not for extenuating circumstances largely centered around money, he would have been fired. But those circumstances exist. So do the successes prior to the 2-10 season. So when I bake them all in, I say, look, I'd really like this to work because I do like Mike. Doesn't matter that I like him personally, and I do. Doesn't matter that I thought Mike was doing a great job prior to 2-10. It's just, if we're going to go down to brass tacks and look at it from a business standpoint and talk about the future of Florida State athletics, Florida State football, and where we're at, all of the stuff that was going on off the field, the facilities and all the things that they're doing, the lawsuit that was happening, it allowed Mike to have another season, the extensions, everything else. It allowed them to scapegoat those coordinators and leave the head coach in place. And now he must succeed, and they have anteed up to that end that he has to make it right. Some of that is because they would like to slowly whittle away at the number if they have to let him go, okay, and get closer to the payoff that's coming when we see a shakeup in the sport in 2030. So the closer we can get to that, sustain some level of success here so it's not a catastrophic failure, the better it is and the more palatable the payout and all the things that you're going to have to do if this doesn't work. That's the description of the scenario that they find themselves in. That is not the description of where we should be at Florida State with football programs, great pride, tradition, and standards. But it's where we're at. And those are two different things. And so if I sound aggravated, I am. It is incredibly frustrating. And you're going to project that frustration when you're having conversations that center around Florida State's current situation. You're going to. This is fairly untenable. If we were watching this occur to a rival program, we would be cackling with laughter.
Yeah, it feels akin to a team trying to appease its fans. Let's look at pros. And you're trying to appease the fans because you've had 3 or 4 losing seasons in a row. It's not the same scenario. I know I'm cooking up something different here. But you signed a bunch of one-year deals with veterans who that they only got one go left in them. It's like, okay, that might stabilize it for the moment. And hell, we might even go 10-7 or 9-8 and make the playoffs this year as a wild card team. Awesome. But I'm looking at next year, and I know that we don't want to worry about that too much in the moment, but, you know, when all those guys' contracts come due, what are we going to do? And that's where, for me, solving the future, that's the hardest part here. I think they've done enough to change the trajectory for 2025.
For this next season, yes.
I'm just wondering how we bridge that thing to like how Mike ends up being long-term successful here, because you're going to need bags galore for somebody, either recruits to stick or coaches and coordinators to stick if you succeed this year. You're going to have to spend a lot of money doubling down.
Solving for the future, they do it all over the country, my friends at ISF, from right here in Tallahassee, Florida. That's cool, and we've been happy partners with them for some time. I didn't even bring up Jonathan's complaint. He's tired of us getting hurt. Jonathan's making big decisions for ISF, and he keeps asking me, and I keep wanting to tell him that I have the answers, but I don't. Players get hurt. Sucks. ISF.com to learn more. Come back. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A crash on I-10 involving a pickup truck and tractor trailer in Leon County left 3 people seriously hurt Saturday morning. The crash blocked all lanes near mile marker 200. The incident began when a man driving a pickup truck with a utility trailer attached was heading east and had a mechanical issue with the vehicle that caused the driver to slow down to 20 miles per hour. A man driving a semi-trailer loaded with 30,000 pounds of food crashed into the back of the pickup. The driver told FPH he didn't have enough time to stop and couldn't go around because all other lanes were busy. After the crash, the pickup truck was pushed across the lane's emergency shoulder before hitting a guardrail. The 65-year-old man from Quincy driving the pickup came to a stop on the south shoulder. The driver was seriously hurt, along with 2 other male passengers. The 39-year-old man driving the semi came to a stop on the north emergency shoulder after being pushed in the opposite direction. The driver was not hurt. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by McLemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs level off around 87 this afternoon under partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the south 10 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 66. Tonight, mainly cloudy skies expected. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun with fog early tomorrow. Highs around 85. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 81.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
There was Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude, I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean, you know.
No, I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Man, it's kind of fun to go through. We're getting so close to the NFL draft. Short segment here, but I get excited. I do believe there's a chance, my man, that we're going to see Zare get drafted late in the first round. I sure hope so.
That would be cool. I always enjoy when we're at a watch party and you hear the roar of the local crowd as the Florida State kid is drafted. And in some circumstances, the moment like we heard in 2012 when EJ got selected by the Bills.
Well, I was happy for EJ, and I was happy that a Knoll went high profile, but based on EJ's play here, and I get along with EJ very well to this day, know him, and I'm not saying we're friends, but I know him well. He it didn't warrant that, in my opinion. If we were being objective, I thought, well, that's okay. I hope he proves you right and me wrong. But alas. By the way, if you go to those lists where where they filter players not in order in which they're taken, but by their ranking, their overall ranking of players in the draft. I've seen 2 that had Azariah Thomas in the top 35.
Oh, wow.
And 1 in the top 40 of all players, just to, bouillabaisse, just like, hey, here we go. We're going to throw all these players in and say, what are these guys? And they have, I was reading one a moment ago that was interesting. They talked about short area quickness. Fine. I got you. They loved how, tall for the position he is.
Yeah, rangy.
6'2", 200 pounds. He's 20 years old, so you got a lot of things that you like. He's long. Several of the scouts have mentioned that he excels in press coverage, uses his physicality to disrupt routes, that he's that kind of player they think projects really well in the National Football League. And again, I keep adding because we know the kid and we've interviewed him and we've seen his time here in Florida State come and go, sadly, without a lot to show for it, but a guy who we knew would interview well. We knew he would check all the boxes as a guy that people in the league would be excited to have because they know he's the kind of guy that once you give him money, you're not going to have to worry about him. He's not going to go off the reservation and do something stupid.
I do have to break in really quickly. A little bit of news here for the basketball program.
Okay, then.
They've hired an assistant general manager, and your son specifically is going to love the name of the hire. It's Terance Mann.
Well, I don't know how that's going to work. Terance Mann is still in the league, playing very real minutes.
Yeah. I made sure to go to their official page to verify that that's accurate, and it is.
Well, listen, call me excited, but I don't. Okay. Maybe on tomorrow's JCS, we have Lou Clark's on, and we get a conversation about how that's going to work, because that is really, really exciting.
Is he retiring?
Oh, I hope not.
Last night he played 21 minutes.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's playing 21 minutes in the league. You're not retiring. He just signed a huge contract that carried over with him to Atlanta. No. But Justin is right. Steph Curry's the GM for Davidson. It's starting to happen. It's starting to happen. You apply a title when they're available. They come in and they try to help out as best they can. They're a name. They lend their name to their alma mater. They give they have an opportunity to.
Yes. According to Ira's article that's available now on warchant.com, in a sentence, it allows the players to serve as advisors to the college program, the basketball program, while still continuing.
That is correct. A liaison.
That's a good liaison to have.
It's cool, man. That's exciting. Love you, Terance. It is a recruiting thing. There's no doubt about that. And listen, Terance loves Florida State. I told the story. Terance had a alley-oop dunk against Miami, down in Miami, when he was with the Clippers, and I went down to Miami, flew down there with my son to catch the Clippers in the Heat. My oldest is a massive basketball nut and loves Terance Mann. It's his favorite player of all time. So we had to see him in person, and we went down there, and I did the whole thing, man. Got good seats, the whole deal, Tom. And when they were warming up, threw a little no love his way, and he responded, gave the chop, smiled, and pointed at Bryce. It was cool. I was like, there you go. It's always great when that happens. To his credit, no matter how bad I've dogged him for going to live, Brooks was really cool. The 2 times I've seen him out on the course when he was on the real tour, the PGA Tour, I saw him, and one time he was away from the cameras, nobody around whatsoever. We mentioned some no love there. He stopped, gave the nod, which is nice.
Spectator asks, have they announced the actual GM? No, not yet. Luke said in that long presser from a couple of weeks ago, he has a name in mind. I think that he's got somebody. It's what it sounds like. But maybe things fell through. But no, I'm not aware of a full GM being named yet.
By the way, really quick, let's check just so I can let you know, because I threw some names out there yesterday. That's the wrong tournament challenge. We do have a full minute. I can find it.
Lottie Wode is
that's what I was boom, that's where I was going. Tom Wang,
okay.
Producer extraordinaire.
I keep my eye on the ANWA when there's a Knoll.
You're damn right you do.
So Lottie is tied at the top at 9 under, shot a
go Lottie
2 under 70 today, and she will be in the final pairing on Saturday for the ANWA, trying to become the first to go back to back.
Back to back. Let's go. Keith Mitchell, who I dogged the other day on this show, leads the way at the Valero at 8 under. I did draft him in my DraftKings lineup.
You dogged him all the way into your lineup.
Well, he was the last pick on my DraftKings lineup. Yeah, Tommy Fleetwood, Brian Harmon. It's a good day at the Valero, everybody.
Brian Harmon? I don't know.
You have hatred in your heart for
do.
Brian Harmon that doesn't make any sense. But look at my man, Siwoo. Let's go, Siwoo.
He's still waggling somewhere.
Top 22 right now. Although, damn, Keith Mitchell out here to throw an 8 under. Bonus hour awaits. Stick around. Good stuff. Hang in. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.